Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 launched a few weeks ago, and it's already become a global phenomenon, having sold over 2 million copies in 2 weeks. But I'm not going to play it, and if you're anything like me, you shouldn't either. The first reason why you shouldn't play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is because it's woke trash. It's obviously not that. The so-called woke controversy surrounding this game was absolute nonsense and should be ignored. So let's get into the real reason why I believe people like me should hold off on playing what is sure to be a phenomenal game. One of the greatest burdens of the modern-day working-class gamer is our seemingly endless backlog. That ever-growing list of games in your library that just sits there collecting virtual dust. Games that you've desperately wanted to play, perhaps for years. And still somewhere in your heart you truly believe that someday you'll get to play them. But we all know the truth. The reality is, you will not be able to play everything you want to play. Not only will you not be able to play everything you want to play, you probably won't be able to put as many hours into the games that you actually do play. The result of that is that you have to plan out your year. What games are releasing? What do I really want to play? What games do I have in my backlog that I really do want to play? And how much time am I willing to spend on any of them? And what experiences do I want while playing them? And while it's easy to falter under the pressure of instant gratification, what you really have to ask yourself is, in what state do I want to experience the games that I'm going to play? Now, if it's an old game that you want to get to eventually, no problem. But if it's a new game like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, that actually becomes a very difficult question. Because I can tell you from first-hand experience, Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was a very different game when I first played it and when I eventually finished it. And I'm not criticizing Warhorse for that, because they're basically an indie studio that created a massively ambitious game. But when I eventually finished it, I was playing it in the best state that it's ever been in, with all the DLCs. And it was a much better experience. And here's the thing. Games such as Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you only ever get to experience them for the first time once. You will never again get to go back and play it for the first time again. I mean, being a working class gamer, the reality is you might actually only ever get to play the game once, period. So the question becomes, considering you will probably only ever get to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 once, how important is it for you to have the game in its best state? This question becomes even more relevant when you look at the roadmap that Warhorse has released for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. There's a lot of DLCs coming. There's a lot of content coming. And possibly missing out on those DLCs just because I didn't have time for a second playthrough, that would just be a tragedy. Because some of my favorite content in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 were the DLCs. The one where you could take part in a combat tournament. Now, I know that wasn't technically a DLC, it was a free update. But it still felt like a DLC, and it was really great stuff. My favorite DLC was From the Ashes, where you could rebuild the town of Previslavets, and then you became the bailiff of that town, and you could decide what shops you're bringing in, what people you were bringing in. There was a whole quest line related to it. And honestly, to play the game for the first time and possibly miss out on that and possibly never have a chance to play the game again, I don't know. I don't think I want to take that chance. I think I'd rather hold off a year and then get to experience those DLCs with the full game for the first time. This is where I would like to refer to some other examples. The first one is Mass Effect, which I'm a huge fan of. But I only played the Mass Effect trilogy years after Mass Effect 3 was released. So the first time I played the game, it was before the Legendary Edition, but still, I played Mass Effect 3 with the Leviathan DLC and with the Citadel DLC, and those extra content fixed a lot of the issues that the people who initially played the game had with it. So I never experienced that. So my experience with it was much more positive. Now again, that is kind of a different scenario because Mass Effect 3 was very broken at launch and it still has a lot of problems. But because I played it long after many of the issues were sorted out, I had a much better experience with the whole trilogy. And again, the same can be said for the Legendary Edition, which is a phenomenal package of all three of those games. The second example I want to make is with a game that I just recently finished playing, Baldur's Gate 3. I only started playing Baldur's Gate 3 for the first time more than a year after its launch, after Patch 7 was released. And I think we can all agree, if you've played that game, Patch 7 was a meaningful amount of content. And from what I understand, Baldur's Gate 3 is also in a much better place now, especially with Patch 8 even coming out, than it was when it first launched. As phenomenal as it was, it still had issues, and now they don't exist anymore. So again, my playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 is probably a more positive experience than someone who played it at launch. You also have to consider the bugs. Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was notoriously riddled with bugs. I understand, though, that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is in a much better state at launch, but there are still bugs, and the bugs present in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 currently, as far as I understand, is nothing game-breaking, but it could be immersion-breaking in a game like KCD2, where immersion is everything. So, one of the reasons to wait to play this game, then, is to allow the developers to get to that point where all the bugs are ironed out, all the balancing issues have been sorted out. Now this is a single-player game, so balancing issues is not really that important, but there are certain things that they will iron out. And then when you finally play it, that experience will be everything you want. What it also does for you to wait until 2026 is you maybe get to play the first game. Because I know people are saying you don't have to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 before you play number 2. But I'm going to say, while I'm fully aware that the second game does a very good job of catching you up on the first game, I genuinely believe that there is no way that it will ever do justice to the experience of actually playing the game. Because that story of Henry and how he builds himself up to the end of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and the whole thing with his father's sword and going through all those emotions, from my perspective, I think you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you have the time and you don't play the first game. I think you're missing out. So really consider playing the first game before you play the second game. Anyway, this is all just me trying to navigate all the emotions of knowing that I won't be able to play the game right now and that I don't have the time to play it now and play it again later this year and play it again next year. So obviously, you do whatever you need to do. If you have time to play it now and again next year and do multiple playthroughs, then please go right ahead. But as they say, misery loves company. And I know there's people out there who are just like me, who is going to be forced to sit for the next year looking at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, salivating. And this video is just my way of dealing with that. And if you're out there and you're like me, just know you're not alone. So, if you got this far, thank you very much for listening to my little therapy session. I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next one. Cheers.